Welcome to MMA Dogs. My name is Hector, and I want to thank you for tuning in. A big thank you to all of our clients. And now the homework is done, and it is time to take the test. I'm going for an A+, and we got UFC Fight Night 42. We got some really good fights to break down. And before we dive into it, let me say that never bet more than you can afford to lose. And always check your local laws, local government. And much respect to all of the men and the women who step in the octagon. So let's dive right into it, baby. We got Cummins going up against Narvas. And Cummins we are familiar with, of course, in the UFC because he took on Daniel Cormier. And he had all that hype behind him and this and that. And, we fast forward now. He's the only fight on Fight Pass. So, they're setting him up here, though. He's going up against a guy making his UFC debut. He's taking the fight on short notice. And, he's a middleweight fighting at light heavyweight. The odds reflect that, and in my opinion, makes Cummins unbettable. But Cummins here has been training in LA. He's got some good training partners. Like I said, he already got the octagon jitters out of the way. And he's a very strong wrestler, very athletic. So it's Cummins' fight to lose here. Cummins has what it takes to win this fight. But will he do it? That is the question. And at these ridiculous odds, like I said, it makes it unbettable. It's a do not bet. For the pick, I am going to go with Cummins. But it's a do not bet. There are much better spots to bet in this card. And jumping right over to the next one. Hoo-wee! We got Tuck versus Lindsay. Very similar situation here. Lindsay making his UFC debut. He's a decent wrestler. His stand-up is not good. He has decent cardio. And he has taken this fight on shorter notice. Originally, Tuck was scheduled to face Cedeño, but Cedeño had to pull out due to an injury. So, Tuck, he's well-rounded. He's been training at the MMA lab. I believe this will be his second or third full camp there. And like I said, he's well-rounded. Has all the tools it takes to be a successful mixed martial artist. But there's one thing that he's lacking, and that is his cardio tank. His gas tank. I believe that he will show us the best cardio that he has shown us as of yet in the UFC, and I think Tuck's going to come in here, come in shape. At the weigh-ins, he looked to be in phenomenal shape, better than we've seen him in the past, and I have faith that he has improved his cardio, and at least will win 2 out of the 3 rounds and win a decision. So I'm going to go with Tuck for the pick, and we'll dive into the bets in a little bit. And moving right along to the next one, we have Jorgenson versus Martinez. Now with Jorgenson, we got a really interesting case here. He's got 3 losses in a row, but Jorgenson has been fighting the best guys in the world. He's been fighting the top bantamweights, the top flyweights. He's been fighting the top guys, and he is well-rounded. And he should beat Martinez everywhere. That's what he should do. One thing I can't ignore is the chin, though. Jorgenson's chin at this point, man, he's just been in so many fights, so many wars. And with Martinez, we've got a really interesting case here. He is a gym rat, first of all, training out at Chula Vista here in San Diego. Just an absolute gym rat. And I will say I was expecting a little bit more out of him, against Carriazo. But Carriazo is completely underrated, always overlooked. Everybody's always supposed to take him out, but Carriazo's a stud at that. The little engine that could. And with Martinez, his shot here is to land I don't know if I would call it a lucky shot, but he throws these bombs, these knockout bombs. So with Martinez, that will be his ticket, his ticket to win. And at the weigh-ins, Martinez looks to be in phenomenal shape, unbelievable shape. And Jorgenson, not so much. So for me, this is a do not bet. I am going to pick Martinez for the upset, but at these odds, I'm going to need more than this to go ahead and put something on Martinez. So I'm going to say a pass because if Jorgenson wins, like I said, he should win the fight, but I am going to pick Martinez for the upset. Jorgenson, I think it's time to do away with him here, and if you feel like if you see something in Martinez and you want to play something small on him, I won't be I can't blame you, but it's like a 51-49, very close, but not close enough for me to want to bet Martinez. So Martinez for the pick, but I do not bet. And then I will say in that matchup, I do believe it's more evenly. It'll be a more evenly contested fight, more evenly matched fight here, with Martinez getting the upset. And moving right along here, we got a guy in Bobby Vulker, who the UFC loves, in Benoist or Benoist. A guy who's been out for nearly 2 years with a broken leg, a leg injury, and a very interesting little matchup here. Vulker, 3 losses in a row. So in my opinion, the UFC is setting him up nice here because if he loses, the UFC really won't have any remorse for cutting him because they're setting him up against a guy who's been out nearly for 2 years. So Vulker's just a tough SOB. He should have the wrestling advantage here, so he should be able to dictate where the fight takes place, which is huge. And he's very durable, has a lot of cardio, heart, very hittable, of course, but he makes up for it with his durability and his heart. With his opponent here, he does have better stand-up, but just watching his fights, Benoist's gas tank, he's just not where it needs to be for a UFC caliber guy, and I think Vulker will win the fight here, Bobby Vulker. So Vulker for the pick, do not bet, in my opinion here. And moving right along in the next one, we have Sergio Pettis against Dodson Messa. Now with Messa, 1-2 in the UFC, he does train with MMA Lab, which is a great camp. And he's going to need to wrestle Pettis for 15 minutes. 15 perfect, just wrestling clinic type of minutes. And I don't think he has the wrestling chops that it takes to do that. I don't believe he has it. I love Pettis here. The UFC loves Pettis here. He's going to have a huge stand-up advantage. And his takedown defense has been improving. It's only going to get better. And his takedown defense will be enough here. Pettis all day, all night. And it's a good matchup for him here. This next fight is a fight that I've been going back and forth in my head, back and forth. At first, I loved Perez. After doing the homework on it, watching the fights, I won't be surprised if Caroway, like what Messa needs to do, gives us 15 minutes of wrestling and wins the fight. So Caroway, we know what he's about. A good wrestler. Stand-up's not good. He needs to grind up Perez. Perez, a Greg Jackson student, he will have a big stand-up edge. And the question will be how much has Perez's wrestling and takedown defense, most importantly, improved. And he's been out for a little while now. I believe he's been working hard. I believe his takedown defense will have improved and possibly get a finish here. It's a do not bet because Perez still has to prove that. And my lean is towards Perez, so I can't bet Caroway. So, Perez for the pick, do not bet. Better spots to bet here. And we got Hulman versus Edwards. Two guys in two different points in their careers. Hulman, to me, is a prospect. I've been watching this guy for a while now. Training at the MMA lab now. I love that. Wrestling edge, knockout power edge, conditioning, aggression edge. I mean, Hulman just has what it takes. With Edwards, he's got 3 losses in a row. In my opinion, his chin is gone. He's 37 years old now. He could have the technical striking edge, with the movement and just the overall experience there. But I don't think that chin is going to hold up, and all it's going to take is one shot from Hulman, and boom, that could spell the end of it for Edwards. So I like Hulman here. I liked him more, but after doing the research and watching the footage, Hulman was just a near miss for me. I'll play him real small in something, and I'll go over it in a little bit. But I definitely like Hulman. Definitely like him to get a finish here, and we'll go over the bet in a little bit. Now this next one, Dos Anjos. We got Dos Anjos versus High. High is making his lightweight debut. High is a very interesting guy because anytime he fights somebody of Dos Anjos' caliber, or not even as good as Dos Anjos, because Dos Anjos is going to be his toughest test, more of a test than Eric Silva. High's chin, not good, and it's like I said, a big step up. Not only dropping in weight, but going up against a guy like Dos Anjos, who's coming off a loss to Nurmagomedov. He's going to come in here possessed, and sure enough, he showed it to us at the weigh-in. He went in there and stepped on the stage there to weigh in just like an animal. And to me, Dos Anjos is a student of the game, student of mixed martial arts. This guy eats, sleeps, and breathes MMA. He's shown me constant improvements. He's going to have a stand-up edge, big-time stand-up edge here. And he will definitely have the takedown defense to defend Jason High's takedowns. So I love Dos Anjos here a lot. It's a great matchup for him here. A nice way to get back in the win column and keep moving along. And we'll move along here too. We got Moraga versus Dodson. Dodson, for me, he is a very talented fighter. My big concern here is that he's had a knee injury that has kept him out for 8 months, and the fighting style that Dodson has, it requires a lot of knee stability and being able to jump around and kick, and he's just a nut. This guy doing backflips and this and that, and this guy is just all over the place, and anytime you take a guy like him who is at the top, it could be very it's a circumstance where that fighter could overlook another hungry fighter, motivated fighter who's in the top 5 in the world. And in my opinion, Moraga's in the top 5 in the flyweight division. And this is part 2. The first fight, Dodson won it. It was controversial. And like Bruce Buffer says, Moraga is a chingazos fighter. A chingazos fighter, for you guys that don't know what chingazos are, is somebody who throws down, who doesn't give a and they just sling them and throw punches and kicks and whatever it takes. And Moraga is super motivated for this fight. He's gonna apply the pressure, throw chingazos, and in my opinion, pull off the upset here. Now, it's an interesting situation because if Dodson goes in there and does his thing without a hiccup, with no knee issues, I won't be surprised. That's what we've come to expect of Dodson. But if Moraga goes in there and is able to take two of the 3 rounds, or is able to catch Dodson or control him, and we see Dodson not be as explosive as we've seen him in the past, I won't be surprised either. Now, I don't want to throw any money away, and it is very tempting to put something on Moraga, but it's just a tough play to make here. It's one of those things where it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I'm going to pick Moraga for the upset. I'm not going to bet it. If you want to throw a little something on him, I can't blame you. So Moraga for the pick, Moraga for the upset. Do not bet. Dodson at this ridiculous odds. Even if you like Dodson, I don't see him. If something happens here, my goodness, you will be very depressed. So moving right along to the next one, Sanchez versus Pearson. And my goodness here, Pearson's going to have the stand-up edge for sure. I'm not sold on Pearson, though. I'm just not sold on him. And I won't be sold on him if he beats Diego at this point. Sanchez here, I mean, what's left to say about Diego Sanchez? The truth is he was sick at his last fight against Miles Jury. Eating the beef tartare and the quail eggs. I mean, this guy, he really messed up there. He's having a homecoming here, and we know the judges love him. So those are 2 huge things there, and he will have a wrestling edge. Another huge thing, if he wants to use it. If he chooses to use it. There's a lot of ifs in this fight. Do not bet. I am going to pick Diego Sanchez for the upset here, and I won't be surprised if he does win this fight. And moving right along to the main event. Ooh-wee! And we got Benson Henderson against Habil. Now, Benson Henderson, he's been there. He's done that. And he's got a chip on his shoulder. He definitely has a chip on his shoulder. He said, you know what? If the champ wants to fight once a year, defend his title, I'll fight 3 or 4 times a year and beat everyone else who's in the top, the top fighters in the lightweight division in the world. Now, before we go any further here, just a couple notes here I have. I am, thank God, I am 9-0 betting and predicting Henderson and Habilov's fights. 6-0 predicting Henderson, 3-0 predicting Habilov. So I predicted Habilov over all his opponents, most 3 recent ones, including Masvidal. I predicted Henderson, all his victories, including the loss he had to Anthony Pettis. I'm very familiar with these 2 fighters. I've watched every single one of their fights for a long time, and I am very confident in Ben Henderson here. Habilov, a Greg Jackson student, so I have a lot of respect for him. And he's not there yet, though. He's not in the top 5 in the world for lightweights. That division is probably my best division. And he won't, I don't believe he'll ever get to top 5, unfortunately for him. But he's a good fighter, but not in the top 5. And like I said, Ben Henderson with a chip on his shoulder. Oh, Ben Henderson all day here. Ben Henderson. Ooh-wee! So, here we go. MMA Dogs. UFC Fight Night 42. And what do you know it? What do you know? We got Ben Henderson knocking the doors out of the place here. 5 stars. Ben Henderson for the win. Main event all day. 4 stars. Sergio Pettis. 3 stars, Dos Anjos, and Tuck. So let's go ahead and take a look at the bets here. First bet we're going to be making 3.5 units to win 2.48 units. We're going to go ahead and parlay Henderson at minus 230 and Pettis at minus 525. That gives us minus 141. Like I said, 3.5 units to win 2.48. Then we'll take Henderson at the same price and Dos Anjos at minus 300. That gives us minus 110. 2 units to win 1.82. We'll take Henderson at minus 230. And Tuck at minus 155. That gives us plus 136. 1.5 units to win 2.04 units. So, very heavy on Henderson, as you can see. But he is a 5-star play, and that's the reason why. And then we're going to move down to Pettis at minus 525. Parlayed with Dos Anjos at minus 300. Gives us minus 170, 1 unit to win 0.59. Pettis at the same price. Tuck at minus 155 again. Gives us minus 104, 1 unit to win 0.96. And then we're going to go ahead and do, I'm going to go with a couple of 3-leggers. Not real big into anything more than 2. But we'll take Henderson, Pettis, and Tuck. Gives us plus 181, a quarter unit, so 0.25 units to win almost half a unit, 0.45 units. And we'll take Henderson, Pettis, and Dos Anjos at plus 128, a quarter unit to win 0.32 units. So that covers those. And then we'll go down to some frisky round robins of 2s. Total bet is 0.60 units to win 4.89. That's going to be, like I said, round robins of 2s. Total bet, 0.6 units, 0.6. Pettis inside the distance at plus 135. Henderson inside the distance at plus 250. Hulman inside the distance at plus 237. Tuck inside the distance at plus 192. So that gives us a total of 10.10 units to win, to potentially win here 13.55 units. So that does it for this card. And knock on wood, whatever you do, pray to God, or whatever you believe in, pray to the gods that you have a successful night. Like I said, the homework is done, so I'm not coming in here to get anything less than an A+. So if you want more information, go ahead and check out MMADAWGS.com. You'll find all the history, track records, all the ratings, this, that. If you have any questions, you can email me. You can email my dog. And that does it. So have yourself a great weekend. I can't wait. Like I said, knock on wood. Pray to God. Pray to the gods. Whatever you believe in, that we cash these tickets. Because it is time to get to it. So hope you guys take care. And I hope to see you guys real soon.